Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California weather-wise. Today is May 8th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see some low clouds across some Southern California right now, but we got pretty clear skies out there. You can see the snow-capped mountains on the GOES 18 satellite imagery. You can see some of those low clouds across the Pacific Ocean here. There's still that storm system spin across the northern plains, affecting places like Idaho and Wyoming and Montana here. You can see some of those high-level clouds drifting down towards our area, but we're going to have a pretty strong ridge building up across Pacific Northwest. It's going to keep us in this bit of an offshore flow here, so we're going to have some strong winds out of the northeast. It's not going to lead to a big Santa Ana wind event for Southern California, however, and we'll dive into those details as we go through the video here this morning. If I take a look at the mountain storms that are coming up here for the next few days across the Sierra Nevada, the National Weather Service Hanford is all over it here. Minor risk, just, kind of that dangerous lightning threat here. But if you have a nice camera out there, if you're a photographer, go out there and pick your favorite area and maybe try to catch some of the cool cloud formations out there in a lightning strike during the afternoon hours. But as always, be careful when thunder roars. Go indoors to be absolutely safe. And very warm this weekend. Check it out. Look at Bakersfield, 92 and 92. You can see Mendota, Madera, Merced up at 90 degrees. Stockton probably right around 90 at Saturday and Sunday coming up here. And you can see Death Valley. Look at that, 102 and 105. Still not the scorching heat they get in the summertime, but definitely warming up. Barstow warming up. Baker nicely as well. Look at Tonopah, Nevada, 71 and 75. They're about 6,000 feet elevation in Tonopah, Nevada. I used to live there for a few months as well with doing a National Weather Service job there at the airport in Tonopah, Nevada. So take a look here, May 8th. This is the history going way back. You can see this. Look at this 1977 storm. So 3 years of severe drought across much of the region here, and then you get all this rain really quickly. And some people might be inclined to say, hey, you got a whole bunch of precipitation, your drought should be over. But imagine how much of that just runs right off and on into gullies and streams and whatnot and just gets out of there and doesn't help things out that much, especially if it dries out after that. So that's the problem with drought. You can't just look at raw precipitation data and numbers. You have to look at things like that. How did this run off? How did the precipitation fall? How persistent was it? It would have been much better if this fell over a several day period and gently and allowed to soak into the soil a bit more versus just huge deluges of rain. You're talking about over 3 inches of rain, 2.5 there. It's pretty intense stuff when it does come like that. So that's kind of the problem with living in California. Some of these numbers can be deceptive. And look at 1964, it's 18 degrees in Big Bear Lake, the lowest temperature recorded for May. This also occurred on May 1st, 1967. So if we take a look here for Phoenix, check it out. It's going to be warming up through this weekend, 95, 97. You guys are used to that if you're living out there, though. And you can see Yuma warming up, Imperial as well. And there's even some heat risk here across some of the valley areas. You can see it doesn't include the I-5 corridor. I mean, we're not talking too crazy out there. You guys know how to deal with the heat. You've been living here for a while for sure. But, watch out for things like don't leave your kids or pets unattended in vehicles especially. Now taking a look at the peak wind gust forecast across the higher terrain, some pretty gusty winds here, some moderate impacts, and you can see even Sacramento gusting 35. You can see some areas getting up towards 45 miles per hour. So heads up for that. This wind out of the northeast here over the next couple of days. Now taking a look at this nice affordable home weather station, lightning detection system with it, and it's all solar powered. It's an ultrasonic anemometer. It stores the data for you in the cloud. I highly recommend it. Click on that link down below to save 10%. Now taking a look at what's going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Look at the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left. Here's the state of California. Look at this big ridge of high pressure building over the west coast of North America. You can see it extend all the way up into the Pacific Northwest. So you can imagine the flow is going to come up around the ridge and back on the backside here and then around the low. So that's why we're getting this northeast wind here, this offshore flow across some central and northern California. So if I continue to put that into motion, you can see that ridge kind of hang out for a bit. And finally, this trough starts to try to get out of here as we go through the early portion of next week. But that's probably not going to put an end to our thunderstorm potential across from the Sierra Nevada. And I'll show you more on that here in a moment. Now, looking at the European, this is 6-hour precipitation type, actually just 6-hour precipitation in total. And then 850 millibar temperature is also sea level pressure on this as well. But what I want to show you here as we go through Friday afternoon, you can see those showers popping up. And you cannot rule out a stray shower across some of the transverse peninsular ranges, portions of Nevada, especially the higher terrain. So watch out for that lightning potential if you're off and about across the high country or out there hiking. And as you go on in through Saturday, you see again popping up a little bit here. Sunday, yet again. Monday yet again. So, if you want to get out there with your camera and try to capture some lightning, nice little stretch coming up here. Pick your favorite landmark and go out there and try to get lucky. Now, taking a look at composite reflectivity on the North American model short term, you can see a few showers trying to pop up here. I don't know if that's going to actually happen across Sierra Nevada today, but it definitely increases here as we go through the next few days, at least the chance of it. And as we go on through Friday afternoon, I kind of want to show you that it does show some of these storms popping up here. And you can kind of see them drifting out of the north and east here. So heads up for that, and this will probably increase in coverage in future model runs. If we look at 100-meter wind speed here, you can see the offshore flow again across the northern and north central California, across the Sierra Nevada. These strong winds coming down across the area as we go through the day today. And you can see that continue on through tomorrow morning as well. Still the offshore flow coming down. You'll notice there's no significantly strong Santa Ana wind event out of this, however. But we keep those offshore winds going all the way through Friday here, and then we start to weaken those a bit. Still getting some decent gusty winds out of the north as we go through this weekend, however. And taking a look at daily 2-meter max temperature, you'll notice the warm up. This is today, Wednesday. You can see some low 80s, some upper 70s across some of the valley areas. And then look at that by tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way up into the 90s as we go. And some of the desert areas probably pushing 100 degrees here for sure. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So not much relief in sight. Maybe towards the end of next week, we'll start dropping those temperatures back down a little bit. But of course, we'll be watching that day by day and breaking things down. Now, taking a look at mean sea level pressure, and again, this is going to be the ridge that's building up across the Pacific Northwest. And you can see that some semblance of the thermal trough right here as you get some of this high pressure back across some of the Intermountain West here, Montana, Idaho. And that's what's kicking some of these offshore winds as we go. Not an exceptionally strong event here, but you will notice it, especially if you're across some of the ridge tops and some of the backcountry out there also. And then you can kind of see that ridge make its way down across the central portion of the USA, and we relax those gradients a bit. Now, taking a look at, this is Lower Colorado, Lake Mead, 113%. We did drop off a bit here, but still above normal for this time of year. And this is important because this is where a lot of Southern California gets their water from, these areas out here. But much of the Southwest doing quite well until you get out towards New Mexico, where they're not doing too hot here. But yeah, a lot of the Intermountain West doing pretty well also until you get towards the Pacific Northwest and up towards Washington, Idaho, and Montana, where they're well below normal. But yeah, anyway, get out there, enjoy that weather. Watch out for those thunderstorms across the higher terrain and the gusty winds. And we'll continue to look off into the extended forecast as always to try to see if anything is coming. I will let you know the first sign I see if there's any kind of a chance of a storm system. As if you've been watching the channel, you know that's what I'm all about. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.